Finally, within the terms of the VA psychologist scope of practice in improving mental health care access at the VA, I strongly urge you to direct the VA Secretary to grant specially trained VA psychologists prescriptive authority analogous to that granted by the Department of Defense almost 20 years ago. DoD has had 0 adverse effects or complaints reported during that entire period, and if any of you are familiar with healthcare, 0 adverse effects and 0 complaints are unheard of. DoD psychologists, medically prescribing psychologists, have served thousands and thousands of active duty military personnel. This is another safe, effective way to increase mental health care access, and the VA is behind in granting this authority to appropriately trained psychologists. I should mention, these are psychologists like me who have master's degrees and PhDs and then go out and get a separate master's in pharmacology on top of their existing MA and PhD. These are really well-trained psychologists, and they're only doctoral level professionals in the VA who do not have prescribing authority. As I mentioned, VA is behind in granting this authority, and behind not only DoD, but behind states like Louisiana, behind territories like Guam, and behind the tribal reservations of Indian country in granting this prescribing authority. A veteran in Pennsylvania, a veteran in Florida, a veteran in Georgia, a veteran in Virginia should have access to the same high-quality mental health care as a non-veteran in Louisiana or Guam. And remember that the power to prescribe is also the power to unprescribe medication, which is a particularly important issue facing both civilian and veteran populations across the country. So I urge you to direct the Secretary at the very least to begin with a pilot program in VA, particularly in VA medical centers with the most dire mental health care access needs, and those tend to be the rural areas. So in conclusion, the VA, in the face of increasing demand for mental health care and recognized access difficulties in rural areas in particular, must remain a pioneer in the healthcare arena by allowing specially trained and certified psychologists to work at the full scope of their practice and to serve veterans with the expertise and dedication they already employ. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm happy to answer questions.
We have, as a committee, have to deal with the tension between scope of practice issues, the professional associations and the VA that often has difficulty getting the high-level professionals in the specific disciplines. And so the prescribing authority that you were recommended sometimes brings us into conflict with the professional associations, the MDs, the medical doctors, who say that no, they don't need to have that. And so we get in the middle between what's the best care for veterans and what will protect veterans versus what is most convenient and most economical for the VA. So that's something that we need your help in dealing with.
Let me touch on your first question and then your second. In terms of the first question and the turf issues between medicine sometimes and other disciplines for whom prescribing authority is appropriate and the fullest extent of our practice, I'll tell you what I told a young staffer who was trying to work with me on this issue. Regardless of what you may hear from the medical societies, many of whom have been supportive of our prescribing authority in the states, in Illinois in particular, I refuse to to do turf battles over people who've served in actual battles. So that's something that people in associations need to get over and deal with, and I care about what care the veterans get. And if you have a psychologist in the Department of Defense who can prescribe medication and other kinds of therapy, which are always going to be the first attempt for us. We're never going to go to medication first, and that's something I think that's incredibly valuable. They can walk across the hall in El Paso from seeing a DoD psychologist and can't see a VA psychologist once that member is now a veteran who can provide the same service. That doesn't make any sense to me. But the turf battles are purely that, and we need to get over that.